Albert and I have gone back and forth on this, and I like Albert's theory that 99.9% of this Micah Parsons thing is just complete stagecraft. It's a total show. And on Sunday Night Football, because the Cowboys open the season against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football, we're going to have Mike Florio pop into the studio and say, breaking news, the Cowboys and Micah Parsons have come to terms on a deal, just like they did with Dak Prescott last year. And if you'll remember, that was signed minutes before Tom Brady's first game on Fox, which everyone was watching. And now it's a game where the defending Super Bowl champions are coming to Sunday Night Football, and it's a divisional game. Does Jerry Jones want to monopolize the entirety of that space, or are you calling BS on that? Because here's the only reason that I tend to just wonder about this, because Micah Parsons came out hard against Jerry Jones. He started talking about Jerry Jones negotiating without agents present, which leaves him open to an NFLPA inquiry. He's saying things of consequence, and he really does seem to not want to be there. Do you think that Parsons is also a great actor, and he's going to go along with this and he's going to get the generational money? Or do you think that he is not on the field during that first game against the Eagles? So I'll put it to you this way. Are you calling BS that this is all a show and that nobody's really mad and that they're just trying to draw up attention?
Yes, it does seem real, though, for Micah Parsons. It does seem like he is.
Right, he seems mad.
He seems pissed off. Like it does seem like he's really tired of the charade. And who could blame him? We just saw with Dak Prescott. We saw with CeeDee Lamb. This is how Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones do business. They just jerk around their best players and they wait for that perfect opportunity to sign that deal. So yeah, to answer your question, I do think it's BS because the jig is up, right? Like that's what's the beautiful thing about this all, Conor. Everybody can now see how Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys operate. Like for a while, he would do some crazy stuff. Like think of the Roy Williams trade back in the day. And God, he really wanted Johnny Manziel and kind of had to be almost like bear hugged and tackled away from the podium to prevent that from happening from his son. So like there was always some of these stories you'd hear, also like after Bill Parcells had success when he ran the show, I was told Jerry Jones was so upset about that. He said, I will never let that happen again. Like, I'd rather lose and be in control versus give the control to somebody else and win. So there's always been these stories, but now it's so clear that the Dallas Cowboys, they don't prioritize winning. They just don't. If they prioritized winning, then the Dak deal gets done a year early. The CD deal gets done a year early. Micah Parsons gets done. You lower the cap number in year one. You go sign a linebacker. You go sign a lineman. You go sign a weapon, or whatever. Like you go get Derrick Henry last year.
Right.
He wanted to play for you. Like he wasn't that expensive. You do all of these things if winning is the priority on a team that won 12 games 3 years in a row. Winning is not the priority. It's just not. It's about making more money than any team in the world. And that's what they do. Throw European soccer in there. Throw the Golden State Warriors, the New York Yankees. The Dallas Cowboys make more money than anybody. And how do you do that? You find a way to capture the headlines. And the way you just laid it out there, I think is exactly how it goes. I think this deal gets done with all of America watching. And, Jerry does the big press conference. He's hoping they win that game because he's in the locker room and he's talking about a win. He's talking about Micah Parsons. Like they just tried to stay relevant for better, for worse. I was talking to Bryce Butler recently. You should catch up with him. He always keeps it real when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. Played there for a few seasons. And I thought he put it perfect to say, on the outside in the media and the fans, like everybody thinks there's this inherent pressure and urgency when it comes to the Cowboys, when it's the exact opposite. Like internally, there is no urgency. There is no pressure. Like it's not like Philadelphia where people are getting fired left and right and you get 2 new coordinators in there and then you go win a Super Bowl. Like people just kind of, they play out the string. They're lame ducks. They serve their time and their contract and then they move on. Like the Mike McCarthy stuff is a perfect example. It's sad. I mean, I don't know if you have any friends who are Cowboy fans. Like, I don't. I feel bad for them. But I guess the joke's on you if you want to keep supporting a team that doesn't prefer to win games. It doesn't prioritize winning games. It's just lower. It's just fine. Jerry and Steven, they can run the business however they want, but man, it'd be infuriating.
I I don't have any friends who are Cowboys fans because I just don't know if I could. I live in the Northeast. I grew up in the Northeast. If you were a Cowboys fan and you're my age, you probably jumped on the bandwagon when it was like Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. And I just think that is like the lowest form of sports fandom where you just start liking the team. Like, I bring this up on the podcast all the time, but it just sticks in my craw so often. Like Alabama fans in Pennsylvania, New York, or New Jersey, like who did you live in Tuscaloosa at some point in your life, or do you just not want to deal with the possibility that your team might lose and you just want to go around acting superior for absolutely no reason? And I have no respect for those people because they have to come and pay the piper, and there's always going to be lean years. And that's why I grow up in the lean years. I live the lean years. Notre Dame football, last national championship was the year I was born. Baltimore Orioles baseball. Like, are you kidding me? They haven't won a playoff game in like 11 years or something like that, and that's where my head is at. That's where I'm comfortable. Like a Northeast Dallas Cowboys fan who's never been to Texas, please. Like, you just saw it on SportsCenter and you thought you needed a personality.
You're dusting off a little sports fandom PTSD, because it is sad when you get older and you're a sports writer and you're not really a fan of anything. It's hard to describe to people. Like, I'm sure you've tried to describe your loved ones, but it's once upon a time, though, we all were fans of a team. And I was a massive Green Bay Packers fan as a kid. And I caught a lot of hell for the reason, like, oh, of course, 96, they won the Super Bowl. And no, it was a couple years prior to that. According to my parents, I loved Gumby. And I associated the green and the G with the Packers. And then what happened? What happened in the 90s, Conor? They got their butts kicked by the Cowboys, like, repeatedly. And there was a kid in my grade, he was a buddy growing up, Vinny Smith, huge Cowboys fan. We played sports together all the way through from third grade all the way to high school. And second, third, fourth, fifth grade, he had those bragging rights on me because the Cowboys just would beat up the Packers. So even when Green Bay won the Super Bowl, I couldn't get him off my back really until the next year when Green Bay beat Dallas at Lambeau Field in the regular season. They kind of ended that once and for all.
Man, I guess you could accuse me. I mean, I was born into Notre Dame fandom, and the team has always been decent. But I think that I've seen far more heartbreak as a sentient adult than I have anything else. Like, whenever they get to the national championship, which they've done a couple times in my adult life, you just laugh and you're like, ha. Like, okay, it's over. And, Alabama, they lose like by 45 points, or Ohio State, which, they gave it a go. I was proud of them. But yeah, it's one of those things where, I don't know, if you were not a fan of something yet, you have to get it on the ground floor. I'll never forget, I was in London once covering Jaguars Bills. And this is back Rex Ryan Bills, like pre Sean McDermott, pre Josh Allen, pre Brandon Beane. And I'm talking to this British guy at a bar, and he's like, he's saying how much he loves the Bills from London or whatever. And he said it was because of CJ Spiller. Like, he just loved CJ Spiller for no reason. And I think about that guy all the time because I'm like, God bless that guy, because now is his payoff. He was waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, London time, or whatever the hell it was, to watch the goddamn Bills on some pirated CBS station when Rex Ryan and EJ Manuel. You deserve Josh Allen.